Welcome to the deep dive. You're either navigating it now or, well, will be soon. The often confusing world of college admissions and financial aid, it can really feel like you're missing a crucial piece of the puzzle, right?
Oh, absolutely. It certainly can. And what we've seen, looking into the strategies behind it all, is that the complexity,
Eh,
well, it often seems to serve a specific purpose.
Exactly, because the core reality we uncovered is that while you're focused on your student's future, the process itself is frequently structured to benefit the institutions financially.
That's a key point. Their bottom line is a major factor.
So our goal in this deep dive really is to equip you with the knowledge to approach this as a savvy consumer, to understand the underlying motivations of colleges. Okay, let's jump in with something that grabs everyone's attention immediately,
Hmm.
those sky-high sticker prices.
Right. It's interesting. Colleges often use these very high initial costs almost as a starting point for negotiation, essentially. It sets a kind of mental benchmark,
A high one.
a very high one. And then any financial aid offered can appear quite substantial. Even if it's the actual amount you end up paying, the net price is still pretty significant.
That's a key thing for you listening to remember. You see those huge numbers, then an aid package arrives with some reductions, maybe big ones, and it's easy to think, wow, that's a lot of help.
Mhm.
But our sources indicate that these aid offers can be, well, strategically put together. They seem generous, but they don't necessarily make the school truly affordable for your specific family.
Exactly. And what about those exclusive communications you might get? Or the merit scholarships that suddenly appear?
Yeah, tell us about those.
Well, a key point here is that those are often very targeted. Colleges analyze a lot of data to identify families who seem more likely to be able to pay a higher amount, maybe even close to full price.
So these personalized looking offers,
They're often part of a strategy, really, to maximize the college's revenue per student. It's enrollment management.
okay, which leads us to a distinction that's really important for you to understand. The difference between scholarships and grants. It's more than just different names, isn't it?
Precisely. It's a crucial difference.
Uh-huh.
Grants are generally need-based. They're tied directly to your family's assessed financial situation from forms like the FSA.
Okay, need-based. Got it.
Scholarships, on the other hand, can be merit-based, awarded for things like, academic achievements, special talents, things like that.
Mhm.
But the critical thing for you to note is that those merit-based scholarships, while they sound impressive,
And they do sound impressive.
they do, but they might not always make a particular school genuinely affordable compared to other options, especially if the starting sticker price was massively inflated.
Right, so you still need to look at the bottom line, the actual net cost.
Always look at the net cost.
You know, this is where it gets really fascinating, I think. Our sources detail how colleges look beyond your application. They delve into financial profiling and use pretty sophisticated enrollment algorithms. What's the purpose of all that number crunching behind the scenes?
Yeah, this raises a really crucial question about how colleges decide who gets aid and how much. They use your financial data, often from the offset, maybe the CSS profile too.
Those big financial forms.
Right, those forms. They use that data to essentially predict your family's ability and maybe even willingness to pay.
Mm,
These algorithms help them sort of identify families who are likely full pay or close to it.
wow.
And they also identify those who absolutely will need significant financial assistance to even consider enrolling. It's a balancing act.
So, for you listening, it's not solely about who has the greatest documented financial need. Is that fair to say?
It's not entirely about need, no. For colleges, enrollment management involves juggling several things. They need to fill their class, yes, maybe maintain a certain academic profile or diversity, but crucially, they also need to meet their budget, their financial goals. And financial aid is a key lever they pull to achieve all of those objectives simultaneously.
Okay, so this might sound a bit maybe concerning or even overwhelming for you listening. But the good news is you aren't powerless. Our sources highlight some empowering strategies for navigating this.
Absolutely. There are definitely ways for families to become more informed and, frankly, more strategic. This includes understanding the possibility and perfectly legal of structuring your finances before you apply to potentially improve your student aid index, or SAI.
That SAI number is key, isn't it?
It's a major factor in determining eligibility for need-based federal aid, and often institutional aid too. So understanding how assets and income are counted matters.
And for you, it also means knowing how to look very closely at those financial aid award letters when they arrive. They aren't always as clear or transparent as they might seem at first glance.
Exactly. Learning how to decode them. identify maybe misleading aspects, like including loans as awards, and understanding what truly represents significant savings versus just, smoke and mirrors. Those are vital skills.
It really is about shifting your perspective, isn't it? From just passively accepting whatever is offered.
To actively evaluating, comparing apples to apples, and where it's appropriate and possible, even negotiating or appealing the aid offer.
So for you to take away today, what's the big picture here, if we boil it down?
Well, connecting this all together, the fundamental takeaway is that while the college admissions and financial aid process is presented as being primarily about your student's educational journey, and of course, it is about that,
Right.
it also involves significant, often sophisticated business strategies focused squarely on maximizing the college's revenue and meeting their institutional goals.
That's why it's just so important for you to look beyond the glossy brochures, the campus tours, the emotional appeals. You really need to approach this with a critical eye, like an informed consumer making a major purchase, because it is a major purchase.
It absolutely is, which, raises a final thought for you listening today. Consider how understanding these underlying institutional motivations, the business side of college admissions, can fundamentally change how you approach the whole planning process.
How so?
Well, instead of feeling like you're just reacting to deadlines and forms and offers, how can you use this knowledge to take a more proactive and more strategic role in securing the best possible outcome, both educationally and financially for your family? It's about shifting from reactive to proactive,